Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And I want to welcome everybody. It is July the 20th, 2023, and we'll just see if we have any guests. I had one person ask for a link, and I don't see them here tonight, so maybe they'll show up later. But anyway, I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Jim is running a little bit late. Before he gets here, just let you guys know who don't know, his parents were in a really bad car accident last week. So he's contending with all of that right now, but he insisted on coming tonight because I think he needs a break. So just FYI, so you know what's going on. Okay. The announcements, not a whole lot to talk about tonight, but the assignment for this month actually obviously was telephoto landscapes. The assignment for next month is time lapse. And there's a link on the website for that, on that month's listing in the list of assignments for the video that Jim did on that. So if you want to review that, that's fine. The other thing is, I think I mentioned this last month, but just to reiterate it, you can shoot the time lapse on your phone. So we're not making you go out and do the zillion of images on your camera and then put them all together in Photoshop like he describes in there. You can go ahead and do it on your phone. Well, the whole point of this is to do something creative. So try to come up with something. If you're going to do a time lapse, come up with something that's interesting and you're going to want to watch for 30 seconds. You can do one long one for 30 seconds. That's how the end result should be 30 seconds long, not the initial shooting. Because that's 30 seconds of time lapse takes a long time to shoot it, guys. So a lot of the information is in his video, but you can take smaller clips and put them together. You can use iMovie to do that. If you're on iPhone, I'm sure there's other apps like on the Android that is similar to where you can make movies there. So be creative. That's what this is about. It's more about a time lapse that's creative. It's not a video, it's not smooth. It needs to be a time lapse. So, your phone has a setting for time lapse in the camera. So use that as well. If I'm doing both. I'm trying to do one with my camera and one with my phone, and we'll see how it comes out. Anyway,
September. Have you know that as a judge, I dissented from that. I don't care about your creativity. I want you to go through thousands of frames of video and put it together. Because if I had to do it, you guys have to do it. Well, actually, I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding.
I shot 4 or 5 different groups of 500 to 600 images. It takes a long time, guys. It's not fun when it's 95 degrees outside. Believe me. Anyway,
what was that formula again for 30 seconds of time? You tried to teach me.
Yeah, for 30 seconds of
900 frames.
For 30 seconds of video, time lapse video, you've got to take somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 or more images because
900.
900. It depends on how many. Yeah, for 30 frames a second, it needs to be 900, excuse me. And obviously the amount of time it takes is how much time the interval that you have between each image. So it's 900 times 2 seconds or blah, blah, So anyway, Victoria's having a hard time getting in too. Jeez.
They shouldn't have moved to Texas.
Oh God, let me tell her I sent it to her Gmail account. Is that what she's using here? I don't know.
Lynn, do you want to just keep going and you want me to send it to her?
No, I'm doing it right now. I already sent it to her.
Oh, okay.
So she just said it hasn't come through yet. Okay. So the assignment for September is going to be travel. So it's an image that it gives you an idea of what that place was about.
Lynn, it's becoming harder to hear you.
Huh?
It's becoming harder to hear you.
Is it getting harder to hear me?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, I'm trying not to yell.
It's okay tonight. Go ahead and yell.
Yeah, you can hear me now?
No, just barely.
That's weird.
It sounded like you're far away. I don't know. It changed. You were good before.
That's weird because everything, I haven't changed anything, I haven't touched anything.
No,
You might check your microphone to make sure you're on the thing. It has two things: input and then output, and check that they're slid over to the right.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Test it.
No,
Test, test, test.
low,
We
low,
can
still
hear
low.
you. You're just low.
Hold on a second.
Jack, is it thundering by your house?
It is.
Yeah, but it's sunny.
The world's coming to an end.
Yeah, no,
It is
here,
in Wesley Chapel too.
the sunshine is out here though. It's crazy.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
not very well.
That's strange.
While Lynn is looking at that, you guys were talking about national parks. You know, Yosemite had record snow last winter and their falls are overflowing, just overflowing with water. And I have a friend in California that told me there's a 4-hour wait to get in the park.
Oh.
And they've been having to just close it, not let anybody in.
Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Jeez, what is
Say something again, because at that last bit you came in.
Hello,
We
hello,
can hear
hello.
you. We can hear
Nope,
you, but
nope.
it's distant.
That's strange.
Hey, Jim.
There he is. I'm having issues with my
Oh.
microphone.
Now
there
you're
you
good.
go.
You're good.
now.
Good
Okay,
now.
maybe the cord was loose or something because I just wiggled the cord.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, now I'm seeing actually the sound waves on my microphone down there on the bottom. Okay, all right. So the September assignment is travel. So try to come up with something creative that just basically shows you, tells us about the place that you're depicting. Correct, Robert? Yep.
Yeah.
October is night street photography. So this needs to be street photography taken at night. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then November, this is the giveaway, waterfalls. But come on, give us a nice, pretty waterfall, okay? Education nights. Our speaker next week will be Angie McMonigal. I never could say her name. McMonigal. She is one of the top architectural photographers in the world. And she's going to be talking to us about architectural abstracts. So, finding things in buildings that are, they're abstract, and she's got tons of these types of images hanging up in galleries all over the place. So, and she sells a lot of them. So she's a really nice woman as well. So you'll enjoy her. We are starting kind of up in the air about August in September. We were thinking about doing a night shoot for the street photography in August, but we haven't tied that one down yet. September, I'm hoping that the Florida Museum of Photographic Arts, which has moved from the big round building in downtown Tampa to Ybor City, will be open. They haven't yet. I've left them a message. They haven't called me back yet. So as soon as we have something for September, we'll let you know. October is the speaker is going to be Alan Shapiro, who is another really well-known photographer. He's in New York City. He shoots a lot of animals and stuff like that, especially at zoos and things, but he's known for his food photography. If you go to his website, it's called food porn. So his stuff is, and he basically takes pictures of what he's going to eat for dinner. So he's pretty cool. So using the pots and pans in his house and the window coming in off of, the light coming in from his window in his condo. So, I mean, the guy is pretty cool. He's an interesting speaker, and he's a really good photographer. So I think you'll enjoy him as well. In terms of any outings, it is too darn hot to be doing anything outside. So, everybody do your own thing this summer. If you come up with anything interesting, let us all know. You can send it to me and I'll share it with everybody else, but it's so hot outside. It's hard to even think about doing outside and doing any photography. So, and that's all I have for tonight. Robert, do you have anything to add?
My public service announcement,
Go ahead.
which is so I want to thank everybody so much for their this TBCC board. I would like to continue to bring you quality speakers and great education. It does cost us to make these things happen, and we appreciate your continued support. And so, if you haven't clicked the donate button, please consider doing so. And did I say that it would be greatly appreciated? Thanks.
Sure. It helps us pay for these folks to speak for us because we're getting
Well,
some of the
need to
top
wiggle your port
photographers in
again,
the
then.
country. Yeah.
All right, Lynn, I have one thing before you guys take off, I reckon.
Yeah.
Max Stone is a National Geographic photographer, and he's given a free lecture at the Starkey Ranch Library in Newport Richey. I don't know if you guys can even see that.
Yeah.
He's
send me the information and I'll
there you
share it with
go.
everybody.
Say what?
Yeah, send me, email me all the information and I'll share it with everybody.
Yeah, it's a free. That's the best part of it. It's free,
Yeah.
but it's he's going to be doing this presentation on August the 12th, which is a Saturday, at 11:30. So I'll send this to Lynn. She can send it to us, and but just letting you know, it's interesting. I'm going to go. It's all about shooting in the Florida Everglades and Florida Bay and American swamp. So it's out there.
You can probably make that into an outing.
Oh, don't do it. I'm not here.
Okay, I'll tell the guy to reschedule.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs to reschedule Diana.
Thank you.
Jim,
This guy, August the 12th, and it's a free presentation. So I'm gonna go.
Can you record it for me, Jim?
Jim Sykes, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'd mentioned at my last potluck that I was going to try and do another one and specifically deal with some time lapse stuff that hasn't gotten to happen the last 2 weeks. It's been a crazy time for me, but looking at the calendar, I know next week we've got our technical meeting, but I think the week after that, I think the first week in August, I can do that since we've got that coming up. I still wanted to do a night on that. So if I might be able to squeeze something in next week, but the following week, which is the first week of August, is looking pretty clear for me to do that.
Can I request a date?
Diana, the world does not revolve around you, my dear.
I know that, but I'm saying if you don't have a specific date, I would love to catch it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't have a specific date yet, but if people are willing to do our technical night and another night with me next week, I don't mind trying to fit it in next week. If it's better for people to do the following week, I can do that. But I also know we've got that topic is coming up, and if sooner is better on that, then I can try and work that out for next week.
It's up to you, Jim. You do what you need.
Yeah,
to do.
you've got a lot going on, Jim.
Yeah.
Things are starting to settle into a routine now.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jack? Anything from you on your end? You good? Any other comments, questions, or complaints? No complaints. Be quiet, Dinah.
Hey, Lynn, tonight.
I muted myself.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, there's a couple images tonight that when we have commentary, if you let me share my screen. I've done some things with a couple images that that I want to show.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Your sound is going out.
Again? I'll get closer.
Well, at least you know it's the cord.
Well, I can look at the mic over, the Zoom mic down on
There,
the
you're
bottom of the
good. You're
page.
good
You're
now.
good.
Yeah,
You're
and I
good
can
now.
see the waves. So I need to sit forward, I guess, not sit too far back. Anyway, all right,
Stay
let's
away
go
from
ahead
the
and
beach.
get started on the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen.
Let's hope not.
I might just scare it. You never know. Do you see Lightroom?
Yes.
Okay. That's an image that I created in Midjourney. It's an AI image, guys.
You're going mute again.
We can't
Lynn.
hear you, Lynn.
Oh my God, what the heck is going on? This is crazy. I wonder if I have too much stuff open. Hold on a second.
You're okay
So
now.
now you're fine now.
That's weird. I've never had an issue with this. Is expensive mic. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get started on this. Yeah, obviously all everything was prejudged. So we're just going to go ahead and call out the name, the person the photographer, and the score, and then we'll do the comments as we go along here. Hold on, let me get situated. Give myself a little room here. I gotta move around too much. Okay. That over there. Okay, so this first one, and this is assigned, which was Telephoto landscapes. And the first one is Monument Valley Spires. It's altered reality, and the photographer is Jack. Score is 23.6. Go ahead, Robert, Jim.
I'm curious about that left-hand side. Help me understand.
What do you mean left? What are you talking about?
Like why it's there?
No, the brightness factor over there.
Oh, over here,
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, my commentary is the entire background, not just the left side. It's it's obviously been worked to get a distinct separation between the foreground and the background, but there's some artifacts associated with that too. There's dark halos and light halos around the foreground, and there's some extreme sharpness on some of the foreground elements, especially that tall spire that goes up into the sky and stuff. But yeah, there's been a lot done to it to give the foreground separation from the background, but it's generated artifacts in the process.
Yep, I see them and I appreciate that. I can see them better today than I was on my monitor, but yeah, I did have to lighten up the background so as to create that separation, but I guess I went overboard and lightened too much.
Well, the reason why I pointed out the left side, because when you look at the right side, the density is a lot better on the right-hand side than it is on the left-hand side.
I agree. Yeah. Points well taken.
Can I ask what made this altered reality?
Yeah, the substitution of the sky.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I like the shot.
Nope.
Yep, there you go, Lynn.
Yeah, it's a simple fix. I just didn't appreciate it. It's an oversight, I guess you would say. I just didn't appreciate
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
especially, I think, Jack, because the area is so big.
Yeah,
If we did this, it wouldn't be quite so obvious. So
yeah,
Yeah, part of what it is too on the left side, the rock face is very flat, which
Yeah.
is so it's just it's just flatly lit. But on the other side, the rock has a lot of
texture.
there's a lot of formation in the rock, a lot of texture, which has a lot of
Yeah.
shadow areas that don't exist on the left side.
Right.
So part of it's just just the way it looks because of the different texture of the rocks on the two sides.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is Glacier Up Close. This is Lee's image, and the score is 24.7.
The different tonal values and the color hues are just outstanding. Sometimes when you go away to a different place that most of us have not been, you get sort of an appreciation for the place. But in this case, I have an appreciation for the photo. So there you
Yeah,
go.
this is beautiful. The the color set in this, the blues, grays, and blacks work really well together. The textures, the shape, the geometry, and it's well done with how it's burned down around the edges and takes your eye to that bright spot, which is kind of texturally the highlight of the image too. Those pointy rocks just above center, how that's the brightest spot, and it's dark everywhere else, and it just guides your eye right up that little valley to those rocks there. That's well done, well processed.
I want to get my jacket. It makes
Really good. This is a really good example of what the subject was intended to be for the assignment.
Was this shot from a helicopter, Lee? I didn't think so.
No, it's from a boat.
So this is not rocks. This is ice, right?
Yeah, it's a glacier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Ice. Yeah. It looks very cold, man. I want to get my jacket.
You,
Oh,
you
yeah,
look
it
like
was
you look like you're above it though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, that's where all
is
the glaciers being squished together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
awesome.
Long lens looks great on this one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
301 on his crop sensor. Okay, this one is Rocky Mountain National Park. And this one is also Lee's, and this one is 24.8.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Another perfect example of what the assignment was supposed to be. That's beautiful.
Robert?
I'm with Jim on this one.
Yeah, lots of contrasts. It's
Mhm.
the image is not flat at all, other than where you want it to be flat, which would be in the foggy
Lee,
part.
if I had to have one complaint, and it would be totally nitpicking. Open up that lower corner in the right hand side just a little bit more. Just a little bit. I only say that just to balance it with the right hand side.
How's that?
Yeah, that's it. That's it
Mhm.
right there.
Just a tiny little
Yeah,
bit.
that's all it is. And,
Yep.
and I'm telling you, I am nitpicking. So there you go.
I agree. Yep, good call.
Next one is Ghost Trees and Fog. This one is Jan's image, and the score is 24.2.
Yeah, the panorama crop works really well with this, and I like the way you've got the foreground on the left side. You've got that little island, and then it takes you around back and then across to the right. It takes you through the frame from front to back, from left to right, as those little islands recede further back. It's a great path that it takes your eye on through the image.
Thanks, Jim.
And Sylvia, you're welcome.
No, it's Jan.
Jan's.
No, I wasn't talking to you, Jan. Jim has already given you all your great props. I was saying, Sylvia, you're welcome to jump in.
Thank you. I will. Well, one thing I liked about this image, I really like those. I know it's a hazy shot, but I like the muted colors and that it's not over. I find that it's very pleasing and relaxing to the eye to look at. I like the image very much.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, it's easy to lend, you know, to lean toward oversaturation and over contrast sometimes, and you know, but an image like this doesn't call for that.
Where was this shot? This is gorgeous.
Yeah.
This was shot in New Jersey in an area called the Pine Barrens.
Wow. It's
So
beautiful.
you went back in time, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, next one is Swirls of Caramel. I'm not going to say that name. It's in Namibia. And this one is Diana's picture, and the score is 25.
And a well-deserved 25 at that.
Yep.
Wow.
The tonal values throughout this and the color contrast and all the different separation points is on point.
Yep. All the great geometric shapes, the visual impact of this. Diana, this is one of the finest images you've ever put in competition.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Exhibitions.
I agree.
And
The
this
color,
is gorgeous.
colors are very striking on this.
Yeah. And this
You
is a
notice-
situation where you didn't want any clouds in the sky. The clouds would have messed it up.
Yeah.
Do you notice how quiet Diana gets when she gets a very high mark?
No, well, the reason I'm quiet, Robert, is because I had shown you this after it had been judged, and I was prepared to get nailed for it. So, because you offered some commentary and I agreed with it, but so you left me speechless. I think that's a first too, Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll all clap for that one. Speechless, yeah.
Okay, the next one is I cannot say that name. Susavelli. Black and white contrast and textures. Let's go with that part. This is also Diana's, and the score is 24.2. Speak, guys, speak.
I was waiting to see if Robert had anything to say first.
I'm gonna hold back on this one because
okay.
I'd given her some comments after the fact on this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is another great shot. I like the black and white, and I like where the eye takes you. It's great. I would like to see in this one the tree on the left, some more tonal separation between that and the background. That could make this is a strong image, but that can make that even stronger if the background behind the tree was a little lighter. The tree can stay dark like it is, but if that background were lightened up a little bit on those dunes back there, that tree would pop out off, and then you'd really have a strong foreground to background carry through on the image.
How would you suggest doing that?
Yeah, thank you. That was my question.
Lightening up the tonal value back here. That's a Photoshop job.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have that. You're not gonna do that in Lightroom.
Yeah.
But even so, Jim, I tried to play around with that,
Mhm.
and I messed up the tree, so I just gave up.
Yeah, that like I say, that it's not it. The technique to do it is not something that like is easy to do here, because it's not really going to be about masking and brushing. It's going to be about some precision curves.
I'm just curious. See, yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it would require some precise curves
Yeah, it's not going to work.
in Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's not really going to be so much, to do with masking. It's going to be working with separating the tonal values.
Hey, Robert, can we do that the next time you come?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would like to, because I like that.
Okay. Next
That's a
one is Ridge Walkers. This is my image, and the score is 24.6.
I love that.
Such a beautiful image with tiny little details of people throughout this that kept me engaged. I just wish that very top portion could come down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to
played
why
with
you left it.
Yeah, I went back and forth, whether or not to do that or not. I don't know. I just felt like it looked like it was too.
I didn't mean that I had to add. No, I didn't mean it coming down like that.
Oh, okay.
I mean coming down in value. Yeah, you
okay.
got enough room back there.
Oh, okay.
It's just a value in it. It's just a little hot for me in that area, because you have all of started with the guy at the top of the sand at that little guy right there. I don't want to leave the page with the brightness at the top.
Yeah. Okay.
Beyond that.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone else gets what I'm saying.
This is the sand dunes in Death Valley. We were up on the side of the mountain shooting down on it. So this place is huge. It looks like it's small, but it's huge.
Where is this then?
This is the Mesquite Flats in Death Valley.
Okay.
Well, that's why it was great to see those pictures.
This dune is huge, and you would never know it by this picture, but because we were probably at least a mile away, maybe farther, and up on the side of a mountain.
I think the scale of the people tell us that it's huge.
Yeah.
So exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question on the particular image. Intimate landscape. I thought it was supposed to be an area of a small. This is more like a grand area. You know what I mean? Versus a small, like one of the bushes or something. I thought it was supposed to be a smaller image of a larger background.
Move your cursor over to the right, Lynn. Okay, is that 280 millimeter?
Yeah, because the assignment was telephoto landscape. Yeah.
So,
and that makes sense, Jim Hagan?
That definitely is. It's got it's got that telephoto long lens compression. It had Lynn been up there with a with a 14 or a 24 millimeter lens, you would really see the difference and understand that what she did there versus what you would really see with.
All right, I got it. It must have been a huge area then.
Yeah, like I say, because she shot that at just under 300 millimeters, 280 millimeters.
Yeah.
So picture that as being with a 280 millimeter lens. Now picture how much more you would see with, say a 24 millimeter lens, or even a 16 millimeter or something.
Yeah, almost shot 200 the whole time I was out there, because even when we were down on the down 2 days earlier, we were down actually on the dunes. And if you shot with a wide lens, it was like there was just too much stuff. So you had to zero in on the, if you can get an intimate landscape if you're fairly close, but because I was so far away, I still got a telephoto landscape by using the telephoto lens. There's a difference. There's the same but different, right?
All right, that's cool. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is another bird, but that water too. This one is Natalie's, and its score is 22.6.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the landscape?
Yeah, that was my point too. It's not a landscape.
That was my concern, is that the shot of the bird is very nice. I like them, but it is a shot of a bird, and it really, I don't think, totally met the brief, even though it's a nice photo.
Yeah, I mean, if it had a little bit more of the landscape, the bird was a little smaller and less of the main subject, it might have worked, but in this case it's just not enough landscape in it. Next one is Potato River Falls. This one is Brian's, and the score is 23.2.
Is Brian here?
Can I share my
I'm
screen
not
on
here.
this one, Lynn?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me get out of here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oops. Hold on. Let me unstop. Okay, go ahead.
You see the before and after, left and right?
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, one of the issues, and this happens in landscapes a lot, especially with water. There's a lot of excess blue and purple in the shadows, and it was kind of dark. So I wanted you to see the before and after, with just brightening up the exposure a little bit and removing the blue and purple from the shadows. The water looks a lot more natural. And I see this a lot when people shoot, especially waterfalls and stuff. They end up not even realizing that they have all that excessive blue and purple in their images, and that's very typical.
Yeah, I definitely see the difference.
How do
here.
you correct it, Jim?
Stand by. Here, I got to get a zoom window moved to another screen. Okay, there we go. Right here. In fact, it's just blue. That's it right there. See that blue slider? I didn't even have to mess with the purple. It's that blue slider right there, saturation, and I did that and some boosted the shadows and a little bit of exposure. That was it.
What was the score in this?
23.2.
What is it?
Here you can see before, after.
23.2, Brian.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
before and after.
Hey, Jim, while you're in there, go back to the HSL panel and do the option what is the option key on your, and move that back and forth. This is the latest update. Yeah. If you use what is the on Mac? It's option. What's it on Mac?
It's alt on a PC.
Alt. Okay.
But yeah, you can see.
You can see
that,
the only
this
color.
shows you where that blue exists that I was taking out.
Do that again, Jim, please.
It's while you're on the slider, or you use
the
option or the alt key and it shows you the actual color that you're affecting. This is a new
wow, that's really
newest thing in the
cool.
update. Yeah, latest update.
That's really cool.
And you could use the target to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you show us that, Jim, please?
Use the target, Jim.
Oh, yeah. The target tool is right here. So yeah, target tool is right here. You can just put it in the water and drag it down.
Huh. So why did you choose to use saturation instead of luminance or hue?
Because saturation is what removes the color.
Okay.
Luminance darkens or brightens the color, and hue changes the shade of the color.
Okay, got it.
But saturation is what will remove the color.
Yep.
Yeah. Right, got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Another question. Why is this a better way of doing it than, say, like white balance, or doesn't it have anything to do with white balance?
Because white balance will affect all the colors throughout the entire image.
Okay.
All I wanted to do was take the excess blue out of the water without affecting the rest of the image. Okay. Let's go ahead and white balance, water. See what happened to all the foliage? The foliage got excessively orange.
Okay. Yep. Cool. Thank
That's
you.
why I did not use white balance, because it will then affect all the colors throughout the entire image.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
If you want to target just something specifically, you can go down here, take the excess blue out. And excess blue in water and shadows and landscapes is an issue to watch out for. And we're going to see another image where it's not water, but it's excessive blue in the shadows, and we'll see that again in a minute. Here, I can stop sharing if you want to move on, Lynn.
Okay. Oh, I lost my thingy. Here we go. Okay, the next one is Ephraim Hillside. This one is Brian's as well, and the score is 24.
All right, and I'm going to share again because this is the next image I was talking about.
Okay. Okay, hold on a second. Back and forth here we go. Stop sharing. Oops. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't see the difference on this one.
Oh, look at the left, look at the right. Look at the shadow side of the buildings. Look at everything that's in shadow. Look at all the blue on those buildings.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at how blue those buildings are. I'm going to do this for you. There, see the blue in the buildings? See it disappear?
Oh, yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly, it's the same thing that was going on in the other image. It's excess blue in shadow areas. In the other image, it was the rocks in the water that were picking it up. In here, it's the shadow side of all the buildings and everything. And in this case, because the water is blue, the HSL slider is not appropriate because it'll take the blue out of the water as well. So in this case, it's simply a matter of it was all the I lost everything but I'll just show you real quick. It was simply a matter of
Brushing it.
brush tool and setting saturation down to about -65, -70, right in that range. You set the auto mask check mark on, and then you brush the blue out of the shadows of the buildings, and then you don't affect the water
That's amazing.
and all these other shadow areas here. That's something to be aware of is excess blue in shadows in landscape. So it was just a matter of brushing it out of those areas to fix it.
Why I love this, man. You
Yep.
guys
See the difference?
Yep.
Yeah, I see it now.
All right.
That's
I didn't
great.
know what to
Very
look
nice.
for.
Brian, on
before.
the positive, Brian, on the positive side, I thought the image was really beautiful, and
Oh, it's a beautiful image.
Something-
Absolutely, it's a fantastic image. I just wanted you guys to see that and be
Yeah,
aware
no,
of that
I think
with
those changes
with the
really-
blue. But it's a great shot, Brian.
I
Brian,
love the two churches with the steeples. I don't know, that drew me in. The
Yeah.
two churches facing each other, sort of unbalanced. I found that made the image even more interesting.
Lynn, while you're there, go back to the prior image on Brian's. Brian, this image is not interesting. Now, no, I'm not being flippant. I'm saying to you is that what you did was you shot a waterfall. If you look at the foreground, that waterfall in the foreground out of focus, it has no meaning to this particular photograph at all. When all of your entire image is there, and left and right, bring out the right hand, crop away some of that right hand side, and a little bit off the left hand side as well. And so this is what you're photographing, but you gave us a whole bunch of things that took away from this particular image, and I don't think you worked the image to get the best out of what it was bringing to you. Now let's go to the next image. you give me something you give me a place to start, you give me some interest, you give me colors, you give me separation, you give me all these things that are very pleasing to the eye. And you get a much higher, better response from it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can't be that inconsistent.
So
Oh, yes, we can.
I'm surprised because I thought that this one would be maybe ding because there was too much to look at.
No. It's all related.
No, this and it has a good line that you come across the water and there's not too much water. It's it's just enough water, and then you hit those buildings in the lower left, and your eye follows through those buildings in a diagonal up through there, and then eventually you get up the hill and you get to those beautiful fall colors and everything, and then just enough sky at the top to balance the water. No, that you didn't get dinged on this one. You pretty much nailed the composition on this one.
Okay, good to know.
Next one is The Light in Paris. This one is Karen's, and the score is 23.9.
I like this, but that on the right-hand side where it's looks crooked, I don't know if I don't know if you could just take that, crop it down or take it out. That top right side I found a little
Here?
distracting, but overall the image was very different. I liked it.
Yeah.
But
You can fix that in free transform real easy.
Yeah, free transform will fix that because everything else is pretty much perfect, and that's and so that one thing being just a little bit off catches your eye when everything else is so perfect in alignment. Now, what's nice about this, I like how that the pattern on the left is a you can't necessarily call it a leading line, but it's like a leading pattern. It draws you in from the left side, and then it takes you to something. You get to that lamp, and it's that it's compositionally well done with how it draws your eye across the photo to the subject.
The title's well done for it too.
Is Karen here?
No, she's out
No.
of town.
She's out of town.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you show me how to do that free whatever what it's
Transform.
called, tree transform?
Yeah, you have to go into Photoshop to do it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. And basically what you do is you create a layer and you go to free transform and you pull down just this one side, just down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the whole, you basically, it cuts up the image into X number of squares, and you just pull the one square down over here on this side. And it'll right out.
Yeah, I've never done that.
You could probably make it work in Lightroom with the tool and the transform, just putting two parallel lines up there. Yeah, like there, and then up at the next line above up there. Mm-hmm. There.
Yeah, it worked.
That did it right there.
I did it. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Purely nitpicking, the only thing the title,
Well,
I don't know how we know this was Paris. I'm not sure there's anything in the image that would, she's just trying to make us jealous.
But yeah, but you did catch on to one thing that that I've always brought up when it happens in images, when you're working with symmetry and you just barely miss, it becomes very obvious, that you just, that you either go way off with the symmetry or nail the symmetry. Getting close in symmetry is visually annoying, and you caught on to that.
Yeah, it looks great now. That actually took care of it.
Wow, look at that.
I mean, it even looks like there's a little bit over here because it's changing that as well. I think it makes it straighter even over here. So, okay, awesome. Next one is Morning Has Broken. This one is Jan's, and the score is 24.4. Robert, you're being awful quiet over there.
No. I just got through licking my wounds after beating up on Brian.
Your wounds.
Yeah, because it hurts. It's like my parents say, this is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you,
Hurt
even
you.
though I was.
I don't understand what I did wrong.
This now this image, what the the harmonious colors throughout this image, even to the fact where the boat and the fisherman on the right, his clothing, the boat and his clothing and everything matches the background, and then you've got the guy in the front of the boat is, you know, in red, which is that one distinct thing that's different in color value than everything else, and it's the right thing to be a different color value than everything else in the image.
Is this Jan's image?
Yes.
Yepper.
Jan, what do? Cue people to do this? You hire people? What's the story?
It was rather serendipitous, Robert.
I don't think so.
And the reflections are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, they are spot on, the reflections, even of the people. Usually you get blurry people. It's beautiful shot.
If I was editing this, I would have been inclined to put less on the left, but seeing your image, I really like how much room you have over there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, it's very nice. You know, they say luck favors the prepared. So.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, there were a bunch of other images that I obviously didn't use. So this was just the one that came out.
It's the way it is with all of us, my dear.
I think you bought them the boat. Because it matches. I mean, come on, guys don't match like that.
No, we don't.
No, you don't.
Thanks.
All right, moving on, guys. This one is Moon Candle Water Fountain.
Wow.
And this one
that
is Lee Wynn's image, and the score is 24.6.
That's a gorgeous shot.
You know, I'm going to disagree with you.
Well, you always do.
Yeah. Yeah, the shot is, you know, is striking. My problem is that I have two major competing things. One that I recognize quite easily, and the other one I'm just not sure about. So the weight of it is given too much to the moon and not enough to whatever that second item is to me. This is how I'm interpreting. I'm still wondering so much as to what it is, regardless of its composition, light, and such.
I have a problem with like the stair step in the upper left corner. I don't understand what that is. Are you guys not seeing that?
We're not seeing anything up in the upper left-hand corner.
I didn't say anything.
It's black.
Yeah.
I see two different shades, and I see like a stairs in the upper left corner.
Actually, yeah, if you look behind it, you got to really look hard, though.
Brian,
It's
you
kind
must
of-
have your monitor really bright.
Okay.
You must, I have seen The Sixth Sense, dead people.
At first I did not know I couldn't figure out what was going on here. Then I realized that it was the moon, the reflection of the moon on the water. So, but there's
Isn't that the reflection of the moon on the water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just got it back.
There she is.
Yeah,
We win.
So what are the two lights down at the bottom?
So that's the neighborhood retention pond.
Those are the lights that light up the water
Lights
fountain.
on the retention pond. And then the candle, which is a shadow, a reflection of moon. In the middle, there's a little orange line there. That's also the moon, part of the moon reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Reflection from where? I mean, help me to
On the
understand.
moon, on the water.
Okay,
Just like
I
a
thought the
pool.
reflection was at the bottom.
No, well,
There's two
reflection on the
moon
bottom.
reflections in the water, Robert.
Correct. And this is
Okay.
There's a
reflection of the water
there's a very
fountain.
thin
Yeah.
there's a thin moon reflection halfway between the moon and the bottom of the fountain, and then a larger moon reflection in the fountain.
And then this
Right.
is the fountain's reflection down at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. And I'm pretty happy with this photo because
That's
I
a
walked
great
to the
shot.
neighborhood. It's right there, you know. So
Where is this, Luann?
It's my neighborhood retention pond.
Are you serious? Where do you live? In Hollywood?
Nothing special, just a pond.
Our
Yeah,
retention
it's
pond
water
does not
fountain,
look
yeah.
like that.
I'm gonna tell you, I was completely confused by this image.
Good.
So I feel like it's a candle on the water fountain, but it's a reflection of the moon. So
Yeah.
anyhow.
I would
Looks like
buy it.
headlights.
Yeah.
It's very abstract, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you.
It's just, you have, you, when you see it,
Oh, I
you
see
go,
the floating,
wow. And
I
then
see the
I'm not sure-
floating feet in the upper left-hand corner that Brian was talking about, which means that
I don't
it's
know
not
that-
really there.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. It's dark there, so
There's nothing
Now,
there,
see, now
guys.
I don't, well, I see it a little bit.
I don't know if it's your monitor or what. So
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
my
my
black.
monitor-
my monitor was calibrated yesterday, and so it's there's nothing there right now. All right, next one is misty morning. Whoops, hold on, I lost my.
Wow, we gotta do this more. You guys have some really great shots tonight. I'm very impressed.
Misty morning is Susan Huckabee, and
Mhm.
the score is 24.
Mhm.
Tell me, there was something painterly about this that I just wasn't getting. Is this fog or, I mean, talk to me.
It is mist on the lake. It was in the morning. It was very misty. And actually, it was, I just had the telephoto on, and I just, entered in on, just looked across the lake, and I liked that. And I liked the mist behind the building. And so that was it.
Well, see, when I look over at the little truck and the tractor,
Yeah.
I have very little clarity in there. And so I was wondering about what's causing that softness throughout that.
Yeah, it's
Well,
yeah. I didn't question that because to me that was shooting a telephoto through the mist.
Right. And I was just wondering about it. I said to myself, what I mean, the shot itself is gorgeous. Now, I'm not taking away from that. I'm simply saying I just could not make out what was so in front of it.
So are you questioning it because the barn is is sharp? And
The barn, that's correct. That's the reason why.
and I did focus in on the barn. That is true.
Yeah.
But I kept the vehicles, the tractor, and because they had you can't see, I'm pointing, but where the reflection is in the water. And I thought that was, I thought that was really good, even though the reflection from the barn is there too. It doesn't.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you left the tractor and the truck in there on that side. They balance those trees that are on the other side of the barn.
Right. Yeah, I assume that Jim, and you know better than any of us, I guess, that because of the mist, that the edges are going to be even more blurry than normal, correct? I mean,
Yeah, and like I say, depending on the optics of your camera, your lens, and your sensor, and whatever, if you've got what your aperture is, you can have it where your lens is sharper in the center and falls off at the edges, and that's going to be visually amplified by the by the mist, causing things to be out of focus too.
And
Jim, that's the point you're making, right, Lynn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, you can help me out on this one. Then why is it so that's behind the barn? The trees are as soft. I wouldn't imagine the fall off would be that great from the barn to the small trees in the background.
Well, I see that as this is a telephoto lens, so that it's compressed. So there's actually a fair amount of distance between that barn and the trees back there, which means there's also a lot of mist in between the barn and those trees. But you have telephoto compression effect making those trees look like they're closer to the barn than they are. But there's actually a lot of mist going on back there. Also, what's the numbers on this? What's the aperture this was shot at, Lynn?
Yeah.
6.3.
6.3 at what
At
focal
350.
length?
Yeah.
What's that? 350?
6.3 at 350.
Which is what's the maximum aperture on that lens?
Probably 6.3 at 350.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
350,
yeah, that's probably shot close to wide open, if not wide open.
Yeah.
And so the barn is sharp, so you've got depth of field fall off plus a lot of mist between the barn and the trees, making the trees be that much softer back there.
Yeah, that confused me. It seriously, it confused me because generally when I know when I'm shooting in fog, like, okay, you go back to Jan's shot and it's got fog in it, but there's a bit of clarity behind it in that shot.
This one.
And it's so when I get to the depth of either one of those shots, I still have foreground to background clarity. So, and this was shot at 14.
Yeah,
and the other was shot at
look at the
6.3.
difference in the aperture values there.
Okay,
that says a lot.
That makes sense now.
And I think also the distance we're talking about with Susan's shot is probably a lot greater.
Distance.
Yeah, than we're talking about here.
Right. It was shot way across the lake, and it's a big lake.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking even from the front of the picture to the trees in the very back is a much longer distance than this one as well. So you're shooting through a lot more fog in Susan's picture than you are in Jan's.
Okay.
This picture, I swear, that one with the trees, the one that you had before, that would be a perfect hospital picture. I could so see that on the wall of St. Joe's.
I absolutely agree. Trust me, I've seen a lot of horrible photographs in the hospital lately. I've been walking the hallways at Tampa General and looking at the photographs on the wall and pulling my hair out and shaking my head.
God, Jim.
That other one is so calming.
Yes. I mean, same thing at St. Joe's. I walk around the walls there and I'm like, God almighty, let me sell you something, even though
no, they go online and get it for free.
We all critique every picture we see now, guys.
The thing about hospitals is that they want to treat you and street you. So if you have too many common images, that means you'll stay.
All right, let's move on, guys. This one is The Colors of Moab. This was my image, and the score is 25.3.
Oh.
Yep.
You didn't replace the sky in this one.
Nope.
I know.
And it's beautiful colors, textures, layering, and it in this case with what you had going on, you didn't have a situation like that, like the first image where you had to do a lot of processing to try and get your foreground and background separation. You had it naturally occurring with the color values and the distances and not having the haze effect at the other one. So this rendered beautifully.
Thank you.
The magenta stopped me. That's a good thing, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was probably an hour before sunset.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, I would think that the rock in the lower left corner could go away, but if it did, the mountain would go away, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
No, it also balances the one on the right.
This is one of those things where if you pull one thing out, it'll fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, I played with it.
Lynn, the only thing I might take out is that little one that's sticking out at the very end of the right. But I guess
on the right hand side, that's it.
That's the only up.
This
that right there. Yeah. That one.
I would just erase that.
I could do that pretty easily in generative fill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Given
even just one swipe with the remove tool would do it.
Yeah.
Given some of the commentary on Brian's photos regarding the blues, would desaturating some of the blues be appropriate in this photo?
I'm so glad you asked that, Alan. I'm so glad you asked that question. And so I want you to turn your mic back on because I want a little bit of banter here.
Okay.
Look at the foreground color. All right. That's a complementary color to the background. So they need to play off of each other. So in other words, it could even be stronger in the blues in order to have what is known as color contrast.
Got it.
Whereas in the other photographs, Brian's photograph, they were taken away from the photograph because all the other foliage, the fall foliage and other colors that were happening in there that were very strong, that were competing. So in the shadow areas, a lot of times when you shoot anything in the shadows, you're going to have a high Kelvin temperature. And once that Kelvin temperature goes above 5,500 and you start to get into that blues in the shadows, you want to neutralize those. But in this case, you want to accentuate it because you have this contrast of complementary colors.
Yeah.
Hope that explains.
And there's something very different going on here than in the other images where the blue was there in the shadows. In those images, if you were actually standing there yourself and looking at it, your visual perception would not see that blue in those shadows. Your visual perception wouldn't be seeing it, because that has to do with, like Robert says, with the Kelvin value that's going on. However, in this case, if you were standing there, this is what it really would look like, because those mountains are so far distant from what's in the foreground.
Look at this shot, hon.
The light that's reflected off of those mountains.
Diana, your
Diana, can you mute yourself?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The distance between those mountains and the viewer has miles and miles and miles of air in between, which actually filters out all the wavelengths except the blue. The blue is all the long wavelengths are atmospherically filtered. The short wavelengths make it through. If you were standing there, this is the color that you'd see. The mountains would look like that, and it's because of atmospheric filtration of the wavelengths and the color that's there. Those other images, you're not dealing with atmospheric filtration causing the blue. This is, in this case, the camera rendered it as the eye would see it. In the other cases, your eye wouldn't be seeing that blue that the camera rendered in the shadows in Brian's images.
Yeah, well, it
Thank
didn't
you. Very helpful.
render it exactly. I had to do some work on this.
So I have questions about my monitor, but does anybody else see a purple tinge in the very top?
Yep, that's supposed to be there.
Okay.
That's the color of the sky.
Yep.
That's
what I'm
twilight.
saying. That's the balanced portion that holds you into the photograph.
Yeah, that's the twilight color in the clouds.
Thanks, guys. Okey-dokey. Next one is Hidden Treasures. This one is Tom's image, and the score is 23.4. I think is this underwater?
Where's Tom?
It's like surf.
Is Tom not here?
I think that's a waterfall, and there's all kinds of mist and haze and everything in the air, and water. You can see water draining off of the rock on the left hand side. That it's near a waterfall. And there's I get the title. There's like very golden light shining on it, making it look like a giant like a gold nugget or something. Hence the hidden treasure. But I think compositionally, the small rock on the very left side of that jutting into the frame, is kind of an issue, and it doesn't necessarily need all the weight of the right hand side of the image.
Is Tom not here?
I don't think so. Like that?
No, I don't see him in the.
He's not on there.
I don't see him on there.
All right.
Are you talking about it doesn't need this? I mean, we'd have to, like this.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the next one is Break at Dirty Water. This one is Fong's image, and the score is 22.5.
This was the same as the Burton image.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so same situation as the bird image. It's not a landscape.
It's actually pretty good. There's one, two. This is a bug. This looks like a bug skin or something. But the
Yeah.
shot of the dragonfly is actually pretty good. It's well, a good bit of it's in
Yeah.
focus, which is a hard thing to do because they're hard things to shoot.
Yeah.
But it's
Not saying anything away, taking anything away from what you just said, Lynn.
Yep.
Just saying it doesn't meet the requirements of the.
Yep, it's a good dragonfly shot, but it's not a telephoto landscape shot.
Nope. Next one is sunset. This one is Kathy's shot, and the score is 23.3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering why everything here is so. I know the sky is very red, but boy, everything is red.
Oh, well, it's gonna pick up some of the sky color in the landscape in the trees. That's not unnatural.
I'm Kathy's here. Kathy's not here.
Guess not.
I'm at a loss for where to land. And now, Jim, you're gonna definitely have to help me out on this one. The tree on the left hand side. Left hand side.
Left side. Left side. Okay.
All right. Now you see how soft that one is?
Yes.
All right. Now you go to the right hand side, lower right hand side. That's sharper than the tree on the left hand side, and the tree behind that, I mean, foreground is sharper than that. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Now there's no fog here.
Yeah, what I'm assuming there is, telephoto compression again is stacking those things up that are actually at greater distances than they appear, and it's creating one of those things where, it looks like something's closer than it is on one side than the other, and it's because you can't see all the way to the base of the trees and where they're connected to the landscape. I suspect the one on the left is actually farther away, but telephoto compression has flattened out, the distance
From here to here.
perspective in this, the apparent scale of distance between the objects, and so it's drawn that tree. It has that tree appearing to be almost in the same plane as the other trees, even though it's not.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
the telephoto
it looks like
compression
the focus
effect.
is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like the focused right here on this tree.
Yep.
All right, now which brings me to the reason why I am saying that this image is not optimal. And here's why. In Susan's image earlier, there is fog and in and out of compression throughout the image with the focus on the landing on the barn.
Yep, and you can in that one the apparent distances. It's still apparent that there's distances between the objects. Front to back, even though they're compressed. In this, everything has actually become flattened into one plane.
Right, and so when I go to and I add this image and I go, the tree that's on the right is apparently the focus point, and then the tree on the left is not. Then I'm saying, okay, these two are competing with each other. And give me somewhere to start, somewhere to land. And the only thing I have is just the hues that are in the sky. And it's not enough in this photograph to hold me.
Yep. I agree.
Okay.
On to the next one is Morning Prayers at Iron Bridge. This one is also Kathy's. Score is 23.4. Hello.
I'm withholding saying anything right now because I had I saw this image prior to it being submitted, and I didn't know it was going to be and end up being a submission for this, but I had seen this before.
Go ahead, Robert.
I really want this to be a black and white image.
Okay, we will make it black and white. Much better.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the with the
You could play up
reflection.
the
and
contrast on that beautifully.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, take up the contrast, take some of the highlights
to be
down.
taken down some.
Yeah.
It's,
And I would
it's-
brush away some of the
yeah,
highlights. on that.
it's too bright at the.
To Diana.
I'm sorry.
She gets an award. in
No,
some magazine or whatever,
You
and-
know why? Because Lynn and I just finished a classes on black and white processing. So I'm all about black and white now. So that's all you're going to see. from-
Diana, I'm just kidding you. I'm just.
I know,
ragging
but I
on you.
mean, it's a great shot. I would love to play with it.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
So it becomes much more of a graphic and much more of a something that deals with life and death and such. With this particular photograph as a black and white, I find it just to be much stronger.
Lynn, can you full screen it at black and white, please?
What'd you say?
Full screen it at black and white, please.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me just finish what I'm doing here. Trying to get rid of those highlights there without killing the rest of the image. Yeah, it definitely, the color doesn't help this one at all.
Now, and black and white, this thing it pops in black and white.
Yep. I mean, you
So
go
that's
from
my thought.
here
Yeah.
to here. It's like night and day, literally.
Yes.
Some things just belong in black and white. That's all there is
Yep.
to it.
Yep.
Next one is Giant Lily. This one's Lee Wynn's score is 24.5.
That's a cool shot.
Was that fish really there, Lee Wynn?
I bet it is.
I agree, it's a great shot, but where's the
That's in
landscape?
Gainesville. Yeah. There are lots of fishes there. So I just waited with the fish.
Waited for the fish to come.
It's a great shot, but where's the landscape?
I mean, like, how is this different from the bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to this. It goes back. You got to
Yeah.
remember these lily pads are probably 3 feet across. So this probably goes back further than you think. Again, it's compressed.
Yeah, in the bird image, the subject, was simply the bird. In this case, you have multiple elements that appear in the landscape, combining in an image.
Yeah, these are not little tiny lily pads that are like 4 inches across. These leaves are like huge. So, yeah, they're huge. They're like little tiny boats. So, yeah, this is what you would call an intimate landscape.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yep.
what Jim Hagan was referring to.
Yeah. Yep.
The fish is the accent.
Exactly.
It was shot at 200 millimeters. So it's compressed. Think about it, because those lily pads are they're big, but they're also, the one in the back is probably quite a ways back as well, because
Leanne, help me out. How big are these things?
Maybe like a couple feet wide.
Yeah, they're at least, the diameter is at least 3 feet wide, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing that koi is probably about 18 inches long.
Yeah.
The fish itself is probably about 1.5 feet long.
Okay, so is this in your complex too, Lewin?
No, this is in Gainesville. In Gainesville, there's a park there. And then-
Kanapaha.
yeah, I think that's a good place for camera club to go, because so many bamboos there.
I would love to go there.
Yeah, Kanapaha is I've been there many, many times. Yeah, it's a pretty place. It's it's a botanical garden in Gainesville. It's right off the
Only
interstate.
problem is they don't open until 9 o'clock.
Yep. All right, next one is Rainbow Dancers. And this one is known as and the score is 24.
Mhm.
This is interesting because it's a shoot through image, which is adds
Yes.
that extra color in it.
Yeah, which is it gives it you can buy those special lens baby gimmick things to do this, but this was done for real.
I was actually
Oh,
on my
seriously?
2-600 lens, and I was at a Chatfield Botanical Gardens, and I wanted to take pictures of hummingbirds, and I wasn't seeing any. So I was going around taking some texture pictures, and all of a sudden I look through my lens and I see this, and I said, "Oh my God, this is
Mhm.
really cool." So I just had to shoot it.
Yep.
And you guys know what shoot through is?
No, I don't.
It's a bunch of, if you have if you're shooting, yeah, she focused on the plants here, which were quite a ways away, but there were other plants in front of her lens.
And
So
and
she's
they're
actually
so out of
shooting
focus that
through-
they simply
they
become
disappear.
color blurs.
Yeah. So she's shooting actually through other flowers and plants that were between her and the things that she was focusing on. And because they were thin enough and far enough away, she was still able to focus on the plants.
Yeah,
on the other
they're
side.
so far out of focus, because of the closeness to the lens,
Yep.
that they simply become a color blur.
I do this sort of thing all the time in my own shooting. I just didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, it's called, flower photographers do this a lot, and they call it shooting through. Shoot through. Yeah.
And to me, this was really intimate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very intimate. Yeah.
I do this with portraits. You find two objects and you put your long lens on and get really close to the objects become shapes or soft shapes. And then your subject stands out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do this in wedding photography. Sometimes I'll get one of the bouquets, from a bridesmaid, and shoot but do bridal portraits, but shoot through a bouquet.
Right.
Hey, Nona, the only thing I think I would do is this line right here really bugs me.
It's a rock.
It's a rock.
Yeah, I know it's a rock, but it takes away from the softness of the rest of the. I don't know if there was some way you could, I don't know, get rid of that, or I don't know, but the problem is I don't want to lose any of this. You can crop it off, but then you would lose all this beautiful softness and color at the bottom. But this line right here just drives me nuts.
Why can't she move that soft spot, Lynn, to the right or to the left of it, over it?
Yeah, you might be able to clone something over the top of it, but
not even cloning it. Robert showed me how to do it, where you select it, make a copy, you do a selection in Photoshop, make a copy of Command J it, make a copy of it and then just move it.
Yeah.
Does everybody else feel that way too? Does that bother?
Yeah, I agree with Lynn now that she said it. I didn't pick it up before, but I really like the softness.
That was a very quickie job, but that it pulls my eye away from all those beautiful little flowers because of that line being there, and just getting rid of it just very poorly helps it a lot.
Okay.
It was beautiful before, but I think this just completes the softness of it.
Yeah. Next one is Hog Pen Gap. And this one is Richard Edwards, and the score is 23.7.
Is Richard here?
No, Robert, he called me today and he had some unexpected company show up and he wasn't going to be able to be here, but he said he would very much be interested in anyone's comments and he will watch the recording.
I want to know, why did he shoot that at 1,000 ISO?
Maybe it was dark out.
Well, that has nothing to do with it.
I don't know. It was 1,000 ISO at 200 millimeters at 25.
Yes.
25. So I mean, he was out there. That's probably why, because he was at f25.
It was probably hand holding it at f25,
right? Yeah.
And needed that ISO to do it.
Yeah,
right.
It's at 1/2000th of a 200th of a second. So he could have handheld it. He's at 200 millimeters at 2,000th of a second. Or 200th of a second. That's not too bad. But yeah, it was probably. It looks like it might have been really early morning or probably early morning.
Well, this is a case for me where this
10 o'clock in the morning.
the use of hand holding at 1,000 ISO does not work for me on something that has such nice hues in them without the clarity of something like 100 or 200.
Yeah. This was another one that.
This is why landscape photographers use tripods.
Yep.
Right.
I think it looks better like this.
I grant you yes, but I'm just saying this is one of those cases where I could have so much more detail in a lower ISO.
Yeah.
So much more subtlety in there.
Yeah, there would there would be much more subtlety in the graduations of color and tones and whatnot at a lower ISO.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that's missing. You're missing.
And black and like I say, Lynn going to black and white, grain in black and white is is a pretty accepted thing, and grain often enhances black and white, so that's why
I agree.
It was that's a kind of a good call right there based on the grain.
I agree with that.
Yeah, the color just wasn't adding anything to it. I just think this. I love layers, and what needs to be done here is a little accenting of the darks to get, this is a quickie job that make it even more apparent. That these bounds are there. I mean, because there's some stuff here that you can just barely see because there's not enough contrast between them to that's just real stuff like right here. I mean, I'm doing it really poorly, but just a little bit of extra stuff in that regard, and this black and white would be awesome. Oh.
Yep. F25 did not help him.
All right. Next one is seed at Lettuce Lake Park or Lettuce Lake.
Oh gosh, Karen, please.
This is Karen's, and the score is 23.9.
Karen, please.
Why are you Karen pleasing?
I have a lot of water to get across to take me to a couple gum trees and some weeds.
I think she was more interested in all this reflections.
Okay.
But the other stuff over at the back overwhelms that reflection. Visually overwhelms it by far.
Okay, so can we fix it?
You can fix it.
If it's about the reflection, take the background away.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that's what she was going for here. Well, we'll take the background away. How much of the background do we need to get rid of?
Just leave a slender edge. If it's about the reflection, then make it about the reflection. Give us a little bit of the object that's reflected, but let it be about the reflection. Now, what you just did, I see it.
Yeah.
Now I see reflections.
Need a little more contrast in that reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Clarity. Ooh, that even does it more. Dehaze? No, that's too much. But yeah, I think that's what she was
one last thing. Grab a brush and then paint across that light portion at the top, whatever those weeds are. Paint it down. Lower the exposure on it, just so, so it stops there. There you go.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yes. By golly, we got a shot.
Woohoo! I think this kind of reminds me of one of the shots that, oh God, I keep getting things. I saw, it was one of the black and white teachers that Diane and I, the classes that we were taking, that she showed. Actually, it was an infrared, and she was in the swamp in Louisiana, and she had reflection. It was everything behind the trees were all dark, and then there was one cypress tree that was in the sun, and then there was a reflection of that on the ground. I don't know if Karen was at that class, but this reminds me of that a little bit. So I think that's where she was going with it. My assumption. I mean, yeah, definitely all this stuff back here, but I think what she was probably afraid to take these trees down because of the reflection of the trees. So I don't know. Without her being here, we have no idea.
Lynn, we lost your voice again. What?
Oh, you lost my voice again?
Yep, we lost you.
Not now.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, let me just do a quick screen share on this one, Lynn.
Okay. Well, let me give you it's called Reflections, and it's Jim McWilliams, and the score is 23.9. Go ahead.
Before, after. It's just flat and dull and no contrast and very monochromatic in the color, and just a couple clicks in Lightroom, and you can see the difference there.
Very unlike Jim McWilliams.
Got it. I can stop now. That's all I just wanted to see. It was just a couple Lightroom clicks to do that.
Karen made me do that. We were there the same day.
Who was there?
At Lettuce Lake.
Oh, so
Because I think I'm just about.
He's blaming Karen.
Oh, Karen. Okay.
I don't know too if everything's cut kind of across the middle.
But that wasn't. They weren't more than a quarter mile away from one another. So.
Well, I can see it looks on the right hand side like those are the same weeds and maybe the same trees on the edge of the weeds on the right side, far right side. Yeah, there. That looks like the same weeds and trees right there.
Possible.
My thought was that maybe.
Yeah, that was when I first saw it here. That was my first thought, was to get rid of some of the water.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not so much. The water wouldn't bother me. All this stuff in the water is like bothering me.
Yeah, get all that flotsam out there.
Yeah, that a little better like that.
Yeah.
Lynn, we've lost your mic again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
A little bit.
Yeah, go to the and while you're there, Lynn, go to the basic panel.
Yeah.
And just hit the auto button in the exposure block. There. Yeah, look at that. Just that.
Wow.
You see what just that one click did to it?
Lynn, I see your mouth moving, but we can't hear you at all now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Very faintly, not like before.
Downtown Buildingscape is the name of this one. The photographer is Lourdes, and the score is 23.9.
This image is a bit flat to me.
I agree.
Yeah, me too. And I don't know if I would have left those antenna up there or not. They're a little distracting to the geometry of everything else to me.
Sylvia, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves herself a way out. I love it.
Yeah, because in this case you're making an abstract via the telephoto, and if you're going for it just making it be an abstract pattern, not a documentary shot, then yeah, absolutely you can take those antennas out and make it be about the abstract patterns. Good call. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little more, you put making it more contrast, so it's a nice image. I just think
and bring the exposure up a little bit now that you've added some contrast. Yeah, there you go.
little flat.
Mm-hmm.
We spread out.
Yep. Thanks.
We spread out the histogram. Watch the histogram.
You're gonna have to yell at your microphone, Lynn. We can't hear a word you're saying.
Understand what the heck is going on here? This is crazy. Weird. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
better. Not as good as before, though.
Just barely.
Okay, the next one is St. Pete Pier Blue Hour. This one is Lourdes as well. And the score is 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this has a little bit better composition on it, as well as the contrast of the
Yes.
blue, the blue hour. So it's striking and it draws you in. So she did a much better job.
Yeah, and that boat in the foreground in the water really helps make this image. If that boat had not been there, this would have been, so much less of an image. That boat being there and part of the composition, is well done to include that. I also like that eventually when you work your way through the image, you get the downtown Tampa skyline in the distance on the right. That's kind of like a little bonus, that you get to.
Is Lourdes here? No, she's not.
Yeah, she's here.
She's here.
She's here.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, Lourdes, this was very thoughtful in your composition and your shot. So a little bit more of this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next one is Nature's Light Painting. This one's Sylvia's and the score is 24.
Sylvia, I wanted more foreground.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about it for just a second. That line that's going across in the middle, where the color change is.
Light.
Yeah, that light line right there.
Well, that's the light.
Right. Now that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. That's good. That's my separator. Okay, that takes me to transition from the foreground to the background. But I just don't have enough in the foreground.
Yeah, if you see that water, you see the water coming in on the right. It looks to me like more of that leading in from the lower corner would have been a very nice lead in coming in from the lower corner to lead you to that line. I agree with Robert.
What if you cropped it up from the bottom a little bit?
Yeah, you need to add some back there.
What about cropping it up? Going from the bottom, bring it up a little bit.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Well, let's see.
There. And maybe bring it in from the left side a little bit.
And you gave me just a little. You still have a little bit of water in there, so that I think that water is important.
Yeah, the pond has gotten very dry in places, and I think, as I recall, further back it was kind of muddy, and it started to get muddy with a lot of sticks. I wasn't sure I could clean all that up. I think is why I had cropped it up from the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, but good eye seeing that, seeing that light and those patterns of light, and and recognizing that it was something worth shooting when you see that the pattern that you had with the light and the dark going on back there.
Next one is Night Lights of Tampa Ultra Reality Composite ICM. And it's
Jim, you're so close.
William, and the score is 23.7.
You're so close to getting this right, but this one's missed.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Does that mean my check didn't clear?
No.
Something like that.
And we're gonna assess some fees on top of it.
Oh, no.
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Combine the ICM,
Yeah,
but
no,
it's
I
not. It's
found
not
the
there yet.
repetition of the triangle to almost too many of the.
Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Sylvia, and I agree with you that holds you in that part of the image, and there's not enough to balance it out in the other side of the image. The other side of the image is pretty muddy and dull and doesn't have anything bright on the left side of the image to balance out all those bright blue triangles on the right side. I agree with you 100% on what you're saying.
Robert?
I've already said it. I just need you to hang in there and keep working this, but we're not there yet.
Yep. Yeah, but definitely don't give up on this technique, because this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was great that you sort of thought outside the box instead of just doing the traditional,
I agree.
That's one thing we know about Jim McWilliams. He's always outside the box.
The problem is he's trying to get in.
Last one is, which way do I go? This one is Jim Hagen's, and the score is 24.1.
Now, Jim Hagen.
Yes.
Are you still here?
Oh yeah.
This is such an interesting shot.
Yep. You definitely get credit for the for the humor in this and what's going on. Very good eye, good thought to push the shutter button on this.
Yeah. Remember, Jim, red right returning.
Yeah.
So what about all these orange ones?
I was out at the beach. I was just trying to find something for the assignment, and I saw this guy trying to go through these things. I go, that could be interesting.
Yeah, and there again, that's part of this whole thing about getting you guys to exercise with the telephoto lens. That the telephoto compression effect, that happens, can be so unique and used to such creative advantage. And that was part of what this exercise is about, was getting you to see what happens with that telephoto compression when you start paying attention to it.
Yeah,
and this is very well done with what you did with the telephoto effect with all those markers.
Well, Len, go ahead and go back to full frame for me. Full frame. Now you leave your crop in. Leave all the stuff you did.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff you did. Okay. Yeah, back at the top. Yeah. Now give me. Yeah. Okay, that's what I want. Okay. Now, Jim, when you were saying earlier that I thought the image was detailed something. This is not what you described.
Well, and I thought an intimate landscape was a portion of a bigger picture, and so I took this. I had a 600 on, and I took this. I was elevated. I was up on top of a building when I took this. So yeah, I could have. We're talking about the Gulf of Mexico. I just took a small portion.
Exactly.
And that's exactly right. But you said it in your statement just now. It is the Gulf of Mexico. That's quite large.
And that's why I zoomed in.
You did great.
And did you see why I cropped it? I cropped it so that the horizon was at the third and the boat was at the third. And
Right.
it makes the signs much more prominent.
Oh yeah.
Well, to be honest, I thought part of the assignment was not the crop stuff. I thought it was just supposed to
As
use
long
your.
as you were shooting it at the telephoto, you could still crop it.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, you were good.
This shot right here will be very much memorable.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It will not be forgotten.
This made me smile, Jim.
Yeah.
This made me smile when I saw it.
Yep.
Yeah, especially for people like me who have no idea what all those signs mean.
I don't know what the orange ones mean.
I don't think half the people out there in boats know what those signs mean.
Well, the good thing about it is, and that for me, I said this guy's about to go into confusion land.
Well, actually, I was going to call it a state of confusion, but
Oh, there's nothing confusing about it. It's very cleanly laid out. They've even got numbers on the markers. It's very nice. But
Yeah.
to the untrained eye, you're right. It looks like it's a mess. It's a
Well,
mess.
Yep.
But I'll tell
especially
you,
if
get
it's
outside of
compressed.
those markers, you're going to run aground.
And as compressed as it is, it makes it look even worse. Yeah.
To me, it looks like a messed up ski slope. Like a
So
slalom
Jack, what
course.
are the orange ones? What do they stand for?
All right.
No, that's a red one. It just looks orange.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
guys.
different shades of faded orange.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay,
if you remember, you know, like back, you know, it was especially done like a lot in the 90s and stuff like that. If you remember old car commercials, you know, where they used to always show the handling and performance of the cars, and they'd show the cars going through the cones in the slalom course.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they always filmed those through a telephoto lens. And what you didn't know is those cones were, you know, tremendously far apart, and that car was not struggling at all to go in and out of those cones. And then they did this, just like you see with these markers. They filmed them with a telephoto lens, and it really looked like that car was, you know, doing some fancy maneuvers through the cones.
Well, I'm
Okay,
disillusioned now.
We've got 11 more to do, and we have about we're at 8:49. So instead of taking a break, let's just finish it off, okay?
Yeah, we can knock them out. There's not many. I'm okay with that if everybody else is.
Yeah. Let's just quickly get them done. Okay, so this is called Just Bill and the Road Ahead. This is Valerie's, and the score is 22.4.
Mm-hmm. The title and the subject, just I have to say, this is another one in addition to Jim's that made me smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy looking at this. You know, just Bill adopting the highway and the highway running off behind him there and everything. You know, just the content of the content of the image would, you know, made this one, you know, good for me.
Yeah.
Is Valerie here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, next one is Alter Reality Life's Final Stage.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
wow.
Jack's. This is Jack's.
Zoom in on the left. Zoom in on the left side where the weeds are, Lynn.
Okay, hold on a second. And the score is 23.
Oh yeah, the score. Yeah, look. You see where the weeds meet the sky. The tall weeds sticking up, and yeah,
Yeah.
The sky mask.
Yeah, messed up there.
The sky mask, you know, wasn't clean on the weeds, and you know your eye goes that. It did pretty good on the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was more focused on the tree, by golly, and I didn't pay attention to the edge of the picture as much as I should have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm starting to question you, Jack.
Uh-huh.
The reason why is because you're a surgeon.
Uh-huh.
And that requires precision.
Right, but I'm not a radiologist. They're the ones that read from one end of this frame to the other. The surgeon just stays focused on the middle, what he's working on.
Right. Okay.
You see the difference? Can I explain it any better?
No. You hit the hammer in the head.
Mm-hmm.
It's the edges that get
like
you.
a nerve.
Yeah, I will say you did. It was a good choice of sky to put with this. The sky is a good compliment to the subject.
Thank you. It was just a plain blue sky before, and I just didn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a good. The choice you made for the replacement was a good choice.
Yeah, thank you.
Next one is Super Bowl win Tampa style. And this is Barry's, and the score is 23.1.
Very, and for me, this screams black and white, and a rich black and white at that. This does not. It's got too many white in there as far as the image is concerned for me. And now, if I bring those highlights down, add some contrast in and bring that exposure down as well. this is so much better to me.
Yes, it didn't even occur to me. That's nice.
Yeah,
I love what you did with the panorama.
Yeah.
I really think the panorama was fantastic.
I
that
wanted
you
to know
did.
how you get all these boats to stop right here.
Yeah, believe it or not, this is with the phone.
Well, the thing about this, Barry, right now, this image is now timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yep. I agree. That's very nice.
He makes it.
You did that with the phone, Barry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. No, yep. I commend you for having the creative thought of making the panorama, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is it an iPhone?
No, it's just LG 5G phone. It's like a $200 phone.
Yeah, but I found the color just taken away from this.
In the color, it looks like a postcard.
Yeah.
You know, like a postcard of Tampa. I like both, but I mean, I think it's a great shot.
Yeah, I agree with Diana that it has that kind of postcard quality
Doesn't
to
it
it,
have a
which is not a
postcard?
bad thing. And then in black and white, it looks like it was a banner shot on the front page of the newspaper.
Right. Because especially the sky makes it look like a postcard. That's how
Mhm.
skies look in postcards.
Yep.
Yeah. But either way, you did a good job.
Thank you.
Next, excuse me, McKay Bay, close of day. This one's Barry's as well. The score is 23.
Mm-hmm.
Barry. Barry. Barry.
Okay.
Yes.
Barry, give me something. You gave me a bunch of boats and they were doing all kinds of interesting things. You gave me just a bunch of buildings in the sunset. Give me something. Even if I crop it out, Barry, you're not giving me anything.
Okay.
Yeah. It's when you have, sunsets happen all the time, and a million people photograph sunsets, and we get inundated with sunset photographs. And when it comes to you want to exhibit a sunset photo, it really needs to be more than a picture of a sunset.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Barry,
focus on the buildings, and it's at 4.5, which that there's not a lot of depth for the focus on the buildings. I didn't think.
Like it was more the sky.
Yeah.
See,
The
Barry,
clouds.
Jim and Sylvia are going to be nice to you. I'm telling you, don't bring me one of these again.
Okay.
It had better be happening.
He's on the warpath tonight, guys.
No, you can't give me the shot beforehand and then turn around and give me this.
That's true. This
You
is
can't
so
do
much
that.
better.
You cannot do that, Barry. You cannot do that.
Hey, we all have those nights every once in a while, Robert.
Yeah. Well, the difference now is that
Back in the day, we used to call that the Doris effect.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Poor Doris. She's too far away to hit you.
Well, at least she becomes a legend for it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, moving on. We're getting late here. This was called Cypress Spike. And this one is Natalie's, and the score is 22.2.
Natalie.
Yes.
Your composition is off.
Okay.
Your light is good. Your composition is off.
How?
Talk to me about this image. Tell me what you want me to see.
I just thought it was interesting. The lighting on it. It was more the light than anything.
Yes.
Oh, I absolutely agree, and just a little reframing and cropping on this, really cool. Would be really cool, because with it visually, when you first see that, it's like, yeah, wow, that's cool. But there's it's Yeah, there you go. That's helping, Lynn. If that cypress knee were just a little bit more into the frame, but still
Yeah.
it still needs to be on the right side of the frame,
Mhm.
but not centered. But it's just slightly off. And thanks for getting rid of that leaf floating on the water, Lynn. I was you beat me to the punch on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now,
But there you go. This is that's almost there.
now, Natalie, what I need you to see is that you've done the classic. Hey, wow! I see that light. It's beautiful light, but you still have to work the composition.
Yeah.
So don't get fixed. And I know I don't like the word. I mean, don't tell people don't. But I don't want you to get fixated on the one aspect of something that's standing out without going through the entire motion of checking all four corners.
Okay.
Robert, did I just hear you say you don't like to tell people don't?
Yes, I don't like to tell people don't.
You don't like to, but you don't mind doing it.
Oh, I do it. I just don't like it when I do it.
Okay. Because I was stumbled when you just told that guy, don't send me another one like this.
Right.
I hear don't a lot. So okay, it's cool. It's cool.
Next one is the lady in red. This one is Jim Hagens, and the score is 22.5.
Now I saw that Jim Sykes had a correction to this.
Okay.
Yeah, because I see this as the starting point. This is not the finished image. This is the starting point.
Go ahead, Jim.
And I didn't even finish it. I just wanted to show what Lightroom would do. Without even, because it would need to go to Photoshop too if I were doing it, but yeah. That's just in Lightroom, the before and after. It would still need work in Photoshop, but here's where you can see where I look at that and say, the image presented is at the starting point. See I say, there's a lot of difference there. She has beautiful hair, so, look at, in the original versus, bringing out that beautiful hair. Her skin is softened and not as shiny and contrasty going on, and that was just done in Lightroom. That was just done with the texture and dehaze sliders and whatnot, just to deal with the skin. The other thing I'm going to show you.
Well, what I'm looking at, because I have dual monitors, and I'm looking at the one that I turned in on the right-hand side, and I'm looking at the one
on the left is the one that was turned in. The one on the right is what I did to it.
No. I mean, I'm looking at my image that I turned in. Doesn't look like the image that you guys received. I mean, it's a lot different, actually, but that's all right. I mean, I understand. I thought this happened the last time. I said, I probably need to calibrate my monitor or something, but it certainly doesn't look like what you received. I'm looking at the one that I sent, and it's unfortunately it's quite different. But that's all right. That's I'm not about scores anyway, so that's all right.
Yeah, and I'll show you something else. Where there's mixed lighting in here.
Yes.
So something to watch out for. What's that?
That's exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah, with the mixed lighting, you see her hand here in the original. You see how her skin tone changes from a warm skin tone to a very pale bluish purpley skin tone where the different color or light hit it. And it was just a simple, use a brush in Lightroom and warm up. See the difference in the hand.
I actually considered cropping
versus that one.
Her hand out of it and just a torso up at the top or the head shot.
Oh, I'm fine with the hand and the. I think that's fine as far as the pose goes. I think that works well with this. I'm talking about the color. You see how her skin tone on the arm. There's a sudden change, and the hand is very pale and bluish looking, versus over here, just warming up the hand. So when you have mixed lighting, be aware of watching for that, especially on someone's skin.
No, that's cool. The first thing I intend on doing is calibrate my monitor. Because you guys aren't getting
before-
what I'm sending.
Yeah.
Before
these-
you-
that's-
you-
yeah, this is monitor's been calibrated, so.
Yeah, so that's yeah. My monitor's calibrated too. So yeah, and this is like I say, there's the start point, and it was nothing but Lightroom. I didn't take it to Photoshop, and it should go to Photoshop and have more work done. But this is this is simply where you can
No,
go.
not a problem. I'll
In
fix it
Lightroom,
at my. I'll fix it at my end.
Well,
Yeah.
I have something else to say.
Go ahead, Robert.
Just get my okay. On that shot,
And you can go back, Lynn. I stopped sharing. Yeah.
Okay.
on this particular shot, who lit this? Because the lighting on this shot going across the bridge of her nose is a little off.
You mean on her forehead it's too blown out?
No, the angle is a little low.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we were actually in a group session shooting models, and there wasn't any particular lighting. It was just
it's the placement of the light.
Yeah.
The light. If you look in the eyes,
So
you'll see
so
that
the question is, did anybody even set up lighting, or you just have the existing light that was in the room mixed with some window light?
all of the above. There was a
Right.
few. There was some lights in there shooting different models, and she just happened to be hit by some of it.
Right. Well, the problem is that your lighting is not flattering for this shot.
Yeah. All right, now that's cool.
Okay.
You said you started to say something, Robert, about the light in her eyes.
Yeah, no, I was saying the catch light in her eyes tells me the position is on the lower left. This shot would have done really, really well had it been on the left-hand side, but up
Higher.
about 3-4 feet up
Yeah.
from where it is.
More Rembrandt type lighting.
Yes.
Yeah. This is an image with the subject matter that just calls out and and begs for Rembrandt lighting.
Yes. So.
All right, thanks.
Jim is saying, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here!"
The next one is I know you're in there. This is Sylvia's image, and it's 23.7 is the score. No, I love that. This is awesome. Color and the tricolor adherence.
Sylvia, I only asked you to do one thing.
Okay.
We have such symmetry here. I would like for that top to match the bottom as far as spacing.
Okay, so bring it up from the bottom a little bit.
No. The bottom has enough. The top doesn't have enough.
Oh, okay. So I maybe could. Okay.
That could be easily added in Photoshop in about 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can extend the canvas. I don't know if I've got some I can uncrop it from there or not, but yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
And speaking of details, Sylvia, that little dinky thing, that little weed that's sticking out from the back end of the bird, could be
Its legs.
no, right there. Yeah,
Those
right
are
there.
feathers. Oh,
That's
you said
feathers.
Those are part of his feathers. but-
Those are
That's
feathers.
feathers?
Those
Yeah.
are feathers. Yeah, those are feathers.
The thing that's shaped like the letter Y?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a feather.
It's wet feathers.
Well,
Jake
Okay.
says, cut it out.
I'd still surgically take that out of there.
Okay, doctor, we can surgically remove it.
It looks like a hemorrhoid.
It's bothering you.
Oh my God, we're going in the wrong direction here, guys.
It's been a long night.
Yeah, yes. This one is called Race of Butterfly. This is Fong's, and the score is 23.3. We got 4 more to do, guys. Let's move it along.
We're a little cyan on this, but I wish she had stepped a step and a half, 2 steps over to the left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's still one of Fong's stronger images.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very strong. I agree. Nice capture.
Next one is Mountain Harbor. And this is Richard Edwards. The score is 23.1.
Man, I wish it had been shot with the other camera instead of a cell phone.
I think I would have got rid of the telephone pole.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of things in there I'd get rid of, but
it's a pleasing shot. It's a very calm, serene, relaxing scene. The scene itself is very nice. You know, technically, yeah, you can do some things with it, but
next one is alter reality looking tasty. This is
what makes this an alter reality?
Well, I have to, if you want to know, I'll tell you, this was actually a scenic picture from the top of Mount Evans. The whole goat was there. There was a goat to the left of it. I removed the goat to the left of it by going into Photoshop beta, circling the goat to the left of it and saying delete, and it deleted. Then I went in and cloned all the sky to get it dark enough so that I could darken the background to be black. And then I added a little bit of a painterly texture. So that's how it's altered.
Well,
If you saw the original image, you would not believe it.
Yeah, no, you did a really good job with it. It's got visual impact. It's very strong, and the fact that you cleaned it up and and did that to it. This looks like a studio portrait now.
Thank you. What was my score?
23.7. They didn't give me a chance.
It should have been a 30 based on the amount of time I spent on it.
I thought maybe you had done something to the mouth. That was my first thought. I wonder if she made the mouth open.
Looks pretty tasty, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was very impactful.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the last one is Mario and Princess Peach mirror reflection with water. This one is Valerie's, and the score is 22.9.
I'll show you what I mean by the shadow coolness. Anytime you're in the shade, I'd like to just to add a little bit of warmth to this image, just a tiny bit. And you see how cool this image was, meaning how blue it was. And by adding just a little bit of just adding a little bit of warmth and take out that coolness from the overcast, shadowy area, warmed it up. I'm just wondering why it's so tight. Such a great look and feeling with these guys.
And what is that on the bottom? The white, like a glove, or
It's like
I think it's a glove.
Yeah.
Okay. It just looked. It looked
What I don't
odd.
understand is the mirror reflection with water. I'm trying to. Is this whole?
Yeah.
thing-
I didn't understand that. What that meant.
Yeah.
There's water on the mirror, and it was a small mirror.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it Valerie?
Yeah.
Valerie. Yeah, I mean, when you seem to have a knack for capturing those special moments. I just wonder why you were so tight on this one.
Because it was a small mirror, and he was right on the edge of the mirror.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a real tiny, like, wall mirror, and I tried to go different angles so I wasn't in the picture.
Right.
And I had to cut out the frame, so that's why I did it like that.
Okay. Such a wonderful moment.
Mm-hmm.
Such a wonderful moment here.
Yep.
Thank you.
Really cool. All right, guys, that's it.
Hey,
We did well.
Just a little bit late.
12 minutes.
not bad.
Not bad at all.
Thanks for coming, everybody, and sticking.
Thank you.
Whoever stuck with us.
And Chris is even still here.
Well, everybody.